The Register published an article this week with a headline designed to puncture every sovereignty narrative this channel has covered. Europe built sovereign clouds to escape US control, then forgot about the processors. The argument is serious and technically sound. Yes, Europe is spending over 2 billion euros on sovereign cloud infrastructure. France's SECNAM cloud certification has nearly 1,200 technical requirements and promises immunity from extraterritorial law. But every server in every sovereign cloud still runs on Intel or AMD processors, American chips containing hidden management engines that operate below the operating system, below the hypervisor, at a privilege level the host cannot see, log, or block. Under the U.S. Reforming Intelligence and Securing America Act of 2024, hardware manufacturers are now classified as electronic communication service providers subject to secret government orders with gag clauses. Europe certified the cloud. It did not certify the silicon inside it. I'm Elle, I have a PhD in computer science, and I use data analysis to spot patterns in geopolitics and economics, and with a PhD specifically in computer science, I want to do something slightly different with this video. I want to explain why the Register's analysis, while technically correct on every point it raises, is missing the single most important piece of context in the entire global semiconductor supply chain, and why that missing piece means Europe's position is far stronger than the headline suggests. The article's core concern is Intel's management engine and AMD's platform security processor, embedded subsystems that run at what security researchers call ring-3. Professor John Goodacre, former director of the UK's £200 million Digital Security by Design program, described it as a computer inside your computer, with its own memory, its own clock, and its own network stack. It shares the host machine's MAC and IP addresses, meaning any traffic it generates is indistinguishable from the host's own traffic to any firewall or monitoring tool. The host firewall sees essentially nothing, the endpoint security software sees also nothing, and ANSSI, the French National Cybersecurity Agency that designed and administers SECNAM Cloud, acknowledges openly that the framework does not dive into technical details at the hardware layer. The silicon gap is definitely real. I am not disputing the technical analysis. Every word of it definitely checks out. But here is what the article does not mention once. Not in its 3,000 words of detailed technical analysis, not in any of its expert interviews, not in any of its risk assessment or policy recommendations. The word ASML does not appear a single time. If you've been following this channel's playlist on European sovereignty, you already know why that single omission changes the entire picture. ASML is a Dutch company headquartered in Veldhoven, the Netherlands. It is Europe's largest technology company by market capitalization, approximately $527 billion as of January 2026, and it holds a 100% global monopoly on extreme ultraviolet lithography machines, basically the tools required to manufacture every advanced processor on this planet. 100%. There is no second supplier anywhere in the world. Nikon and Canon both attempted to develop competing EUV technology and exited over a decade ago. Every single advanced processor manufactured by Intel, AMD, TSMC, Samsung, SK Hynix, or any other chip maker on the planet that operates at 7 nanometers or below is physically built using an ASML machine. No ASML machine, no advanced chip. No advanced chip, no processor. No processor, no server, no cloud, sovereign or otherwise. The entire global semiconductor supply chain, from the AI chips powering data centers to the processors inside your own phone, runs through one company, and that company is European. If you're trying to understand how to see through surface-level narratives and spot where the structural leverage actually sits, my book, Awake the Practice of Critical Thinking in an Age of Soft Lies, is available as an ebook and audiobook. Subscribers get 10% off, and you can grab the first chapter for free in the description links below. Each EUV machine costs roughly $400 million and requires 7 Boeing 747 cargo planes or 25 trucks to physically transport to the customer. ASML shipped around 380 lithography systems back in 2024, including more than 40 EUV machines. Its order backlog stands at 38.8 billion euros. Full year 2025 revenue was 32.7 billion euros, up 15% from 2024. Full year 2026 guidance is 36 to 40 billion euros. Every major chip maker on Earth is currently competing for delivery slots that stretch 12 to 18 months into the future. SK Hynix just committed $8 billion for approximately 30 EUV systems. Samsung is securing 20 more for its next fabrication facility. The machines took roughly 30 years of continuous research and development to bring to production readiness. The knowledge base spans more than 800 specialist suppliers across Europe. No country, no company, and no government can replace what ASML does, not in 5 years, not in 10, and arguably maybe not in 20. The technology took 3 decades the first time with the full resources of a multinational consortium behind it. So when the register asks whether digital sovereignty can exist on American silicon, the question is technically valid and worth asking, but it is incomplete because the more consequential question, the one that article never poses, is can American silicon exist without European lithography? And the answer to that question is no, it cannot. Not at the leading edge, not for AI chips, not for the processors that go inside the servers, that go inside the sovereign clouds. The dependency between Europe and the United States on semiconductors runs in both directions, and the European end of that dependency is the one that literally cannot be replaced by any other company or country on Earth. The EU Chips Act has committed 43 billion euros to building domestic fabrication capacity on European soil. TSMC is constructing a major fabrication facility in Dresden, Germany. Intel has a plant facility in Magdeburg. C-Pearl, a French-German semiconductor company, is designing European-made processors specifically for high-performance computing and supercomputer applications. The RISC-V open-source processor architecture is being developed across multiple European institutions as a long-term alternative to the Intel and AMD instruction set architectures. None of these are ready today, I'm aware of that. Professor Aurélien Francillon of the French engineering school Eurocom says competitive RISC-V data center processors will take decades. He's probably right about the timeline, but the timeline only matters if you assume Europe has no leverage during the interim period. And it does. It has the ultimate leverage. It has ASML. The Netherlands has already demonstrated its willingness to use that leverage geopolitically as well. Under coordinated pressure from the United States, the Dutch government restricted ASML's ability to export its most advanced EUV machines to China, effectively cutting off the world's second largest economy from the ability to manufacture leading-edge semiconductors domestically. China fell from 36% of ASML system sales in Q4 2025 to 19% in Q1 2026 as a direct result. If Europe can restrict China's access to ASML technology, it can basically restrict anyone's access. That capability has never been exercised against the United States because the US has been a close ally. But in a world where the US is pulling troops out of Europe, canceling missile deployments on European soil, threatening to suspend NATO members from the alliance, flying spy planes through neutral Austrian airspace, and passing domestic laws that classify European server hardware as subject to American intelligence orders, all of these are things we have videos on, by the way. The political context in which that leverage sits is changing rapidly and visibly. In terms of what's going to happen next, the prediction is that Europe does not need to restrict ASML exports to the United States to change the dynamic. The mere existence of the monopoly, I think, is sufficient. Washington knows that every advanced chip Intel and AMD design depends entirely on a machine built in a factory in Veldhoven, the Netherlands. That knowledge constrains American behavior in ways that never make headlines, but permanently shape what is possible at the negotiating table. Europe's processor gap is real, and the register is right to flag it, but Europe's lithography monopoly is also real, and it is the stronger card by a very wide margin. The register is correct that Europe forgot about the processors, but it is also true that everyone keeps forgetting about the machine that makes the processors possible in the first place, and that machine is European. But if Europe holds the ultimate hardware card, why is it still running its military command software through an American company that openly admits its products is used to kill people? I made a video on why Germany just rejected Palantir and what Europe is building to replace it. That is the one that I would watch next. Thank you all so much for watching this one. Subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.